This time, we're going to introduce the 13 most powerful yokai in Japanese folklore. When you think of yokai, the first one that often comes to mind as the strongest is Nurarihon. While it's true that he is widely known as the supreme leader of all yokai, there are actually many other yokai said to be even more powerful. You might be skeptical, but in this video, we'll dive deep into the background, legends, and unique powers of each one. Some less known yokai will also make an appearance, so we hope you'll stick around to the very end. First, let's briefly define what a yokai is. Yokai are supernatural phenomena or mysterious beings that cause such events. They are also referred to as mononoke, or momono. The term mononoke comes from the ancient Japanese belief that all things possess a spirit, which is said to be the origin of the concept of yokai. You might be wondering about the difference between yokai and ghosts. Ghosts are the spirits of the deceased, bound to this world by lingering resentment or regret. Yokai, on the other hand, are supernatural phenomena themselves. The ethnologist Kunyo Yanagita defined yokai as beings that appear in specific locations, while ghosts are beings that appear to specific individuals. So, are yokai related to natural phenomena? In short, yes. For example, when a super typhoon, an event that happens only once in a decade, would strike, people in the past feared it as a wind yokai. Even today, when a serious disaster occurs, we sometimes feel that some invisible force is at work. In ancient times, the term yokai referred to any mysterious phenomenon that was beyond human understanding. However, in the Middle Ages, people began to believe that these phenomena were caused by yokai with physical forms. For our ancestors, all inexplicable events and illnesses were attributed to the work of yokai or gods. For instance, the creaking of wood in a house due to changes in humidity or temperature was once blamed on a demon with the same name, as its cause was unknown. So, can all yokai be scientifically explained now? Well, there are still many phenomena that remain unexplained even today. Don't worry, it wouldn't be fun if we could explain them all away. Now, let's introduce the 13 most powerful yokai in Japan. I hope you're excited to see which ones made the list. 1. Shutendoji. First on our list is Shutendoji, one of Japan's 3 great evil yokai. Many of you have likely heard his name before. He is a prominent figure in Japanese folklore, alongside Otakemaru and Tamamo no Mae, and is known as the leader of the demons who wreaked havoc during the Heian period. His legend is recorded in various famous literary works like the Konjaku Monogatari, the Iyama Imaki, and the Otojizoshi. As his name suggests, Shutendoji was a demon who loved alcohol. The name, which means sick drinking boy, was given to him by his followers and perfectly describes his nature. He was also said to have been a very handsome demon. Interestingly, one popular theory suggests that Shutendoji was originally a human, an exceptionally handsome young man. He was so popular that he received countless love letters from women. However, he burned them all without reading them. It is said that the vengeful spirits of these spurned women cursed him, turning him into a demon. There are several other theories about his origin, but they all share a common theme: a boy with extraordinary talent, who, after a period of aimless wandering, became a demon. The one who finally defeated the mighty Shutendoji was Minamoto no Reiko, a famous warrior of the Heian period, and his 4 retainers. This group included Kintaro, the legendary hero from the folktale, known as Sakata Kandaki as an adult. Shutendoji was kidnapping young women from the capital every night and devouring them. In response, the emperor ordered Minamoto no Reiko and his men to defeat him. Minamoto no Reiko and his men were renowned warriors, but they knew they stood no chance against Shutendoji in a direct fight. Therefore, they were granted a divine, hidden cloak and a poisonous sake called Shinbenshito Kushu by the gods. The cloak made them invisible, and the powerful poison, specially effective against demons, gave them a fighting chance. As they approached the demon's lair, they met a young noblewoman by a river who had been kidnapped by Shutendoji. Since she was too thin to be eaten, she was forced to serve the demons instead. She told them about the demons' habits, and based on this information, Reiko devised a plan. Reiko and his men disguised themselves as traveling monks and approached Shutendoji, asking to spend the night. Shutendoji welcomed them warmly, and after they shared the poisonous sake, Shutendoji passed out. Using their hidden cloaks, Reiko and his men launched a surprise attack. "This is cowardly. This is worse than the deeds of demons," Shutendoji roared in his final moments. Despite his evil deeds, He was said to be a demon who valued fair combat. He had a large following and was likely a charismatic leader. Today, Shutendoji's head is enshrined at the Kubazuka Daimyojin Shrine in Kyoto. While you might think that having his head enshrined is a sign of a curse, he actually repented after his defeat. Now, he is revered as a deity who cures illnesses of the head and neck, making the shrine a popular pilgrimage spot. He has become a figure who brings good fortune to people today. 2. Gyuki. Next up is Gyuki, a fierce yokai, whose name is a nod to its bull-like appearance. As its name suggests, Gyuki is a monstrous creature with the head of a bull and the body of an oni demon. However, in some legends, this is reversed, with a demon's head on a bull's body. Either way, its appearance is truly terrifying. Gyuki are found in various regions of Japan, and they are known for their extreme cruelty and ferocity. They are said to spit poison and delight in devouring humans. Their powerful curses are also famous. Anyone afflicted by a Gyuki's curse might contract an incurable disease or even die. Furthermore, simply being seen by a Gyuki or having its shadow lick you is believed to bring a curse, making it a truly dreadful existence. However, there is a way to protect yourself. It is said that you can ward off its curse by making a sacrifice or by reciting a chant of contradictory phrases, such as stones flow, leaves sink, cows bellow, horses roar. A famous legend comes from Ehime Prefecture. A Gyuki was tormenting people and livestock in the Uwajima region, so a mountain ascetic was called upon to exorcise it. A mountain ascetic is a monk who practices severe discipline in the mountains. When the ascetic confronted the monster, he blew a conch shell while chanting a mantra. The Gyuki hesitated, and in that moment, the ascetic thrust his sword into the creature's forehead, slicing its body into pieces. A huge amount of blood flowed out, forming a pool that is still called Ushiyonibuchi Bull Demon Pool today. In the Sanin region, there's a well-known story about a Gyuki teaming up with a yokai called the Neurona Wet Woman. Sometimes, yokai form alliances. In this legend, the Neurona disguises herself as a mother holding a baby and asks a traveler to hold her child. Once you take the baby, it becomes impossibly heavy, and just as you become unable to move, the Gyuki attacks. A truly horrifying tale. While Gyuki is associated with many terrifying legends, there are also stories where it is worshipped as a deity or helps humans. One theory suggests that the true form of Gyuki is the root of an old camellia tree. In Japan, there is a tradition that divine spirits reside in the roots of camellia trees, and some people interpret Gyuki as a divine incarnation. As a result, it is also revered as a being that drives away evil spirits. In a legend from Wakayama Prefecture, a young man shared his lunch with a hungry Gyuki, who was disguised as a human woman. 2 months later, when the young man was about to be swept away by a flood, the Gyuki he had helped rescued him as a way of repaying the kindness. However, there is a rule that a Gyuki must disappear if it helps a human. So, after saving the man, the Gyuki melted away while bleeding. Additionally, what are said to be the remains of Gyuki are scattered across the country. For example, a house in an odd city, Tokushima Prefecture, is said to possess a Gyuki's skull. Kanonji Temple in Kurume City, Fukuoka Prefecture, holds a mummified hand, and Nikaji Temple in Goshikidai, Kagawa Prefecture, preserves the creature's horns. 3. Nine-tailed fox. The third yokai we're introducing is the nine-tailed fox, known in Japan as Tamamo no Me. This fox-like creature with 9 tails is another one of Japan's 3 great evil yokai. Legends of the nine-tailed fox are not limited to Japan. They are also found in China, India, Vietnam, and the Korean peninsula. A common theme in all these tales is that the nine-tailed fox transforms into a beautiful woman, seduces powerful leaders, and manipulates them to cause chaos and destruction. The legend is believed to have originated in China. In China, the nine-tailed fox, in her human form, is famous as Daji. She charmed King Zhou of the Shang dynasty, and under her influence, the king became weak and tyrannical. She indulged in extravagant pleasures, such as the wine pool and meat forest, and ordered cruel executions, like the cauldron of boiling oil for innocent people. However, the Shang dynasty was eventually overthrown by King Wu of Zhou, and both King Zhou and Daji were captured and executed. At that moment, Daji's true form as a nine-tailed fox escaped. Even when she was cut apart by a sacred sword, she managed to scatter into the sky and flee once more. Later, the nine-tailed fox took on the form of a queen in the Magadha kingdom of India and committed similar evil deeds. Defeated there as well, she fled again, this time to Japan. In Japan, she became known as Tamamo no Mae and served as a court lady to Emperor Toba. Soon after Tamamo no Mae entered the palace, Emperor Toba began to fall gravely ill. When the Onmyoji diviner Abhyasanari was tasked with discovering the cause of the emperor's illness, he realized that it was Tamamo no Mae's doing. Incidentally, Abhyasanari was a descendant of the famous Abe Mae, whose mother was said to be a white fox named Kuzunoha. The Abe clan has a deep and long-standing connection with foxes. With her true identity exposed, Tamamo no Mae fled to Nasu, but she was pursued by the emperor's elite troops. They shot her with arrows and cut her down with their swords. However, the nine-tailed fox's persistence didn't end there. The slain fox's body transformed into the Killing Stone, a stone that casts a terrifying curse, killing any living thing that comes near it. This Killing Stone was later shattered by a monk named Gino, and its fragments are said to have scattered across the land. The exact locations where the fragments landed are unknown, but legends about them exist in various regions. The original stone still remains in Nasu, Tochigi Prefecture, and animal carcasses are occasionally discovered nearby. While this phenomenon is eerie, it is also believed to be caused by volcanic gases. Finally, an unsettling recent incident occurred involving the Killing Stone. On March 5, 2022, it was confirmed that the stone had naturally split into two pieces. It is believed to be a natural phenomenon, but the true cause remains a mystery. Nue. The fourth creature we'll introduce is the Nue. The appearance of the Nue varies depending on the source, but in the tale of the Haika, it is described as a bizarre chimera-like creature with the face of a monkey, the body of a tanuki raccoon dog, the limbs of a tiger, and a snake for a tail. Its cry is said to be a chilling hyo-hyo sound, similar to that of a Japanese bush warbler. So, was the Nue ever defeated? Yes, it was. There are records of a Nue appearing and being vanquished during the Heian period. At that time, Emperor Nijo was tormented every night by an unknown source of terror. He had renowned monks recite sutras to protect him, but it had no effect, and he eventually fell ill. During this period, black clouds were seen gathering around the emperor's palace, and it was suspected that this was the cause of his illness. Therefore, the emperor ordered the warrior Minamoto no Yorimasa to defeat whatever was in the clouds. The name Minamoto no Yorimasa might sound familiar. He was a descendant of Minamoto no Yorimitsu, who famously defeated the demon Shutendoji. The demon-slaying spirit truly ran in this family. Minamoto no Yorimasa shot an arrow at the black clouds. This arrow was a family heirloom, passed down from Minamoto no Yorimitsu, and was believed to have a special power against demons. The arrow struck the Nue perfectly, and as it fell from the sky, it was swiftly sliced apart with a sword. Afterward, Emperor Nijo's health was safely restored. The disposal of the Nues remains as an important part of the story. You might be concerned that if they weren't properly handled, they could bring a curse. However, the remains of the Nue were reportedly floated down a river and carried away. This might seem surprising, but the people of that time likely believed that this method would purify the remains and resolve the issue. Otakemaru. The fifth yokai we will introduce is Otakemaru. He is said to have been a giant demon who lived in the Suzuka Mountains, located between what were once Aiz and Omi provinces during the Heian period. Aiz is now Mie Prefecture, and Omi is now Shiga Prefecture. Otakemaru was known as a demon king, and was believed to have supernatural powers that allowed him to control storms and thunder, and even cause fire to rain from the sky. He was also a powerful yokai with the ability to fly and shapeshift. Otakemaru was also exceptionally large, measuring about 30 meters in height, which is roughly 5 times the size of Shutendoji and equivalent to a 10-story building. To defeat such a giant, the emperor at the time ordered the legendary warrior, Sakanu no Tamuramuro, to lead a campaign against him. Sakanu no Tamuramuro led 30,000 soldiers into battle, but they were no match for Otakemaru's powerful magic. It was then that Suzuka Gozen appeared. Suzuka Gozen was a celestial maiden who had descended to Suzuka Mountain, the same mountain as Otakemaru. Otakemaru was completely infatuated with the alluring and beautiful Suzuka Gozen. However, Suzuka Gozen was actually a deity who had come to assist humanity in defeating the Demon King. After receiving a divine revelation about her existence, Sakanu no Tamuramuro visited her, fell in love at first sight, and they quickly vowed to defeat Otakemaru together. According to Suzuka Gosen, Otakemaru possessed 3 sacred swords, known as the 3 sacred blades, which had been given to him by an asura. The power of these swords had made him immortal and impossible to defeat in direct combat. With this knowledge, the two devised a plan. Suzuka Gosen approached Otakemaru and pleaded, "A warrior is after me. Please lend me your weapons." Otakemaru, who was completely in love with her, gladly handed over his swords. In that moment, Sakanu no Tamuramuro appeared and, borrowing the power of the gods, challenged Otakemaru to a final battle. Otakemaru used powerful techniques, such as splitting himself into thousands of demons, but Sakanu no Tamuramuro used the power of the gods to release 10,000 arrows, piercing every single one. Finally, he severed Otakemaru's head with the sacred sword Sohaya no Tsurugi, and the Demon King was defeated. However, even though Otakemaru was defeated, he later revived in India using the power of the swords. But in their second encounter, he was easily defeated by Sakanu no Tamuramuro. It is said that Otakemaru's head was then enshrined in the treasure house of Uji. Otakemaru is a somewhat tragic figure, having been defeated by the woman he loved. However, his overwhelming power and presence make him one of the most memorable yokai in Japanese folklore. Yamata no Orochi. The sixth creature we'll introduce is the Yamata no Orochi. This monster is a familiar figure from games and manga, and many people have likely heard its name before. Its eyes were said to be red like winter cherries, and it had a truly monstrous form with 8 heads and 8 tails. Its body was so large it was covered in moss, cypress, and cedar trees, and it was said to stretch across 8 valleys and 8 mountains. The creature's belly was constantly stained with blood. The Yamata no Orochi was a demon that terrorized the land of Izumo, which is present-day Shimane Prefecture. There, a divine couple, the gods Ashinazuchi and Tenazuchi, were forced to watch as the Yamata no Orochi appeared every year to devour their daughters. Eventually, only their youngest daughter, Kushinadahime, remained, and the couple was overcome with deep sorrow. Then, the hero, Susanoo Onomikoto appeared. After hearing their story, Susanoo Onomikoto agreed to defeat the Yamata no Orochi on one condition: that he could marry Kushinadahime. He knew that a direct confrontation with the monster would be futile, so he asked the elderly couple to brew a very strong sake. When the sake was placed at the Yamata no Orochi's lair, the monster was lured by the scent. It drank the sake and became intoxicated. Susanoo Onomikoto then took his opportunity and sliced the inebriated serpent with his sword, successfully defeating it. From the serpent's tail, he found a magnificent sword, the Amanomu no Tsurugi sword of the heavenly clouds. This sword later became known as the Kusanagi no Tsurugi, one of Japan's 3 sacred treasures. There is also a fascinating theory that the Yamata no Orochi symbolizes the Hikawa River in Shimane Prefecture. The Hikawa River has flooded repeatedly since ancient times, causing severe water damage. Therefore, the terror of these devastating floods was passed down through the legend of the Yamata no Orochi. This theory is also supported by the fact that, when viewed from above, the Hikawa River is said to resemble a snake divided into 8 parts. The Yamata no Orochi terrified many people with its massive size and ferocity, but it was ultimately defeated by Susanoo Onomikoto's wisdom and courage. In this way, many Japanese monster legends reflect natural phenomena and historical backgrounds, making them all the more intriguing. Great Tengu. The 7th creature we'll introduce is the Great Tengu. With their red faces, long noses, and attire of mountain ascetics, Great Tengu are among Japan's most popular yokai. There are various types of Tengu, but the Great Tengu are said to possess the most powerful supernatural abilities. It is also believed that monks with exceptional spiritual power become Great Tengu after they die. The most notable feature of the Great Tengu is the magic they perform with their fans. The fan itself is imbued with powerful supernatural energy, allowing the Great Tengu to freely wield various spells, including flight, teleportation, cloning, transformation, controlling wind and rain, summoning flames, and manipulating human bodies. One of the most famous legends associated with the Great Tengu is that of Emperor Sutaku, a terrifying figure counted among Japan's 3 great vengeful spirits. Emperor Sutaku was born as the first son of the reigning emperor and should have been cherished as the heir. However, His father suspected he was not his true son and treated him with distrust. As a result, the throne that should have been his was given to his younger brother, Emperor Go-Toba, which led to a war between the brothers. The war ended with the younger brother's victory, and Emperor Sutoku was exiled to a remote island. After his exile, Emperor Sutoku dedicated himself to copying Buddhist scriptures. However, an incident occurred that transformed him into a vengeful spirit. When Emperor Sutoku attempted to donate his completed scriptures to a temple, Emperor Go-Toba rejected them as cursed and had them returned. Enraged by this, Emperor Sutoku uttered a powerful curse, declaring, "I will become a Tengu," and turn the emperor into a commoner, creating a world where the common people become emperors. And then passed away. After his death, Emperor Sutoku's curse manifested, and a series of disasters such as soldiers suddenly going berserk and massive fires broke out. Emperor Go-Toba also fell ill and eventually lost his life. Emperor Sutoku's anger and resentment were so strong that even after his death, he exerted his power as a great Tengu. There is a saying that the gentler a person is, the more terrifying they are when angered, and Emperor Sutoku's case is a perfect example of this. Daidarabochi. The eighth creature wheel introduces the Daidarabochi, a name many people might recognize from the Studio Ghibli movie Princess Mononoke. The Daidarabochi is a giant that appears in folklore throughout Japan, said to have created mountains and lakes. Its immense size is thought to be even larger than that of the Yamato no Orochi and Otakemaru. In fact, the Daidarabochi is among the largest beings in all of Japanese folklore and mythology. Some theories even suggest that the giant Great Tengu is actually a form of the Daidarabochi. There are very few legends of the Daidarabochi causing chaos. Instead, he is primarily known for creating many of Japan's natural landmarks. For example, it is said that the Daidarabochi created Mount Fuji, and that the earth he dug up to do so formed what is now Lake Biwa. The sheer scale of this is truly astonishing. Other landmarks are also attributed to this giant. Lake Hamana is said to be the imprint of his hand, while Lake Aoki, Lake Nakatsuna, and Lake Kizaki in Nagano Prefecture are believed to be his footprints. Furthermore, all the shells at the Oeguchi Shell Mound in Ibaraki Prefecture are said to be the remnants of what the Daidarabochi ate. Just imagining these legends gives a sense of the creature's immense size. The Daidarabochi is less of a demon and more of a creator deity, much like the gods who formed Japan itself. As such, his story has been passed down not as a tale of a simple monster, but as a myth about the formation of nature and the land. Gashato Kuro. The ninth creature wheel introduces the Gashato Kuro. This monster is a giant skeletal yokai, and its terrifying appearance is immediately clear. It is said to be formed from the bones and onryo vengeful spirits of people who died in battle or were left unburied. Their resentments gather together to form a colossal skeleton. At night, it wanders around, making a clanking sound. When it finds a living person, it attacks them, crushing them and eating them whole. Its appearance and actions are designed to instill fear in anyone who encounters it. However, the history of the Gashato Kuro is relatively short, compared to other yokai. While many yokai have been passed down from ancient or medieval times, the Gashato Kuro first appeared in the mid-Showa period. Specifically, it was first mentioned in a children's book, published in the late 1960s. It later gained widespread recognition through the works of Shigeru Mizuki, the creator of the famous manga and anime Gegege no Chitaro. The image of the Gashato Kuro is based on an Edo period ukiyo-e print titled Soma no Furadera by the artist Utagawa Kuniyoshi. This print features a terrifying giant skeleton that greatly influenced the visual representation of the Gashato Kuro. However, it's important to note that the skeleton in Soma no Furadera is not the Gashato Kuro itself, but merely a depiction of a giant skeleton. The Gashato Kuro is a horrifying presence that strikes fear into many people with its appearance and actions, but its origins are surprisingly recent. As a modern yokai, the Gashato Kuro can be said to have brought a fresh wave to Japanese yokai culture. Yamamoto go Rosaemon. The 10th creature wheel introduces Yamamoto go Rosaemon. While his name sounds like that of an ordinary person, he is actually a powerful demon king who commands countless other demons. The story of this demon is recorded in a tale called the Inoue Monogatari. The protagonist of this story is a brave boy named Inohetaro. One day, he decided to test his courage by performing the Haku Monogatari. 100 Ghost Stories at Hakuma Mountain, a place known for being haunted. The Hakumonogatari is an ancient custom, where people tell 100 ghost stories to summon supernatural beings. At first, nothing happened, but after a month, supernatural beings began to attack Inohetaro every night. However, once he realized that these beings were only trying to startle him, and weren't actually causing any harm, he gradually stopped paying attention to them. One night, after this had been going on for a month, the Demon King himself, Yamamoto Gorozaemon, finally appeared. He was dressed like a noble samurai and was so tall that he reached the ceiling. Yamamoto Gorozaemon explained that he was actually competing with another demon king named Kamino Kagoro to see who could scare more brave young men. Yamamoto Gorozaemon confessed that he might lose the competition, because Inohetaro refused to be frightened. However, moved by Inohetaro's bravery, Yamamoto Gorozaemon handed him a wooden mallet and said, "If you ever find yourself in trouble, strike this mallet and I will come to your aid." Before he departed, this wooden mallet is said to still exist today, and is enshrined as a temple treasure at Kokuzenji Temple in Hiroshima Prefecture. Inohetaro, whose courage moved even a demon king, was truly a special young man. Nurarihon. The 11th creature wheel introduces the Nurarihon. Many people know this yokai from the manga series Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan. In the manga, he is an elusive creature, like a gourd catfish, that appears and disappears unpredictably, and whose intentions are unclear. The Nurarihon is typically depicted as a yokai with a bald, gourd-shaped head and a kimono-clad body. His face is featureless, with no eyes or mouth, giving him an eerie appearance. In the manga, he is portrayed as the supreme commander of all yokai, but what is the truth about his role? In fact, the idea of the Nurarihon being the leader of all yokai is a relatively modern misunderstanding or exaggeration. Originally, he was simply a yokai known for entering people's homes uninvited and acting as if he were the master of the house. The image of him as a powerful leader is quite new, though it is true that he has always been considered a member of the Hyakka Yagyo Night Parade of 100 Demons. One of the main reasons for this modern misconception is that Shigeru Mizuki depicted Nurarihon as the leader of all demons in his famous manga Gegege no Chitaro. Subsequently, in works like Nura Rise of the Yokai Clan and Gods, he was also portrayed as the strongest demon, and this image spread widely. The influence of Shigeru Mizuki on the modern perception of yokai is truly immense. The Nurarihon is an elusive and eerie being, yet his unique presence and storytelling appeal have made him a beloved yokai. In the world of yokai, his ambiguous and mysterious position is one of his greatest charms. Amano's Echo. The 12th creature we will introduce is Amano's Echo. This yokai may be relatively unfamiliar, but her origin is very interesting. She is a goddess who was born when Susanoo Onomikoto expelled as violent energy, which then took shape. Susanoo Onomikoto is known as the hero who defeated the 8-headed serpent, but Amano's Echo, born from his wild energy, has a terrifying appearance. She has a human-like body, but her face resembles a beast, with a high nose, long ears, and fangs. She has none of the beauty of a goddess. Amano's Echo is extremely selfish. When things don't go her way, she rampages, and she's even powerful enough to throw other gods far away. She is said to be the ancestor of the Amagami and Tengu, and has a personality that can only be satisfied when everything is done in reverse. Because of this, she is considered an uncontrollable entity. Surprisingly, Amano's Echo has a child. She gave birth to the child on her own, without a partner. That child is Amano-saku, who grew up to become the king of the 9 heavens and the ruler of rebellious evil spirits. It's clear that both mother and child possess extraordinary power. While Amano's Echo is closer to a goddess than a demon, she is included here due to her role as the ancestor of many demons, her wild temperament, and the fact that her child is a terrifying demon god. Her existence is highly unique in the world of demons and mythology, and her influence is significant. Soranaki. The 13th and final creature we'll introduce is the Soranaki, a yokai whose name you might not have heard before, but whose presence is incredibly powerful. The term Soranaki originally comes from a divination method called the 4 Pillars of Destiny, also known as Tenshusatsu in Japanese. The system uses a combination of the 10 heavenly stems and the 12 earthly branches. Since there are 2 extra branches left over in this combination, these 2 periods are called Soranaki, which signifies an unlucky time not protected by the heavens. The yokai Soranaki is known as the final yokai to appear in the Hakushiyako Night Parade of 100 Demons. In the ancient scroll painting Hiyaki Yagyo Amaki, there's a depiction of yokai fleeing, with a terrifying red circular object drawn alongside them. While many interpretations suggest the yokai are afraid of the sun, another theory proposes that this red circular object is actually the yokai Soranaki. Kubo is said to be a truly terrifying existence, so fearsome that even the yokai and the Hiyaki Yagyo flee from it. Its true nature and origins remain shrouded in mystery. It's said to have a huge, red circular form, but its specific appearance and characteristics are largely unknown. This lack of detail has led to many different speculations and interpretations. Soranaki is a creature feared even by other demons, and its very existence is both mysterious and intriguing. Since its specific appearance and abilities are left to the imagination, it's a yokai that truly sparks a sense of wonder and fear. Well, that concludes our list of the 13 most powerful yokai. What did you think? They were all truly terrifying creatures, weren't they? I hope you also enjoyed learning about the rich history and unique backgrounds behind each one. It's fascinating to see how heroes often defeat these yokai. Not through brute force, but through strategic thinking. The yokai we introduced possess power equal to or even greater than that of gods, so a direct confrontation would be a losing battle for any hero. That's why a clever, strategic approach is always necessary. Which yokai would you choose to become? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to our channel and giving it a thumbs up. We'll see you again in the next video.